Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Living the Life Show podcast. I'm your host, Columbus Cody. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. Welcome back for season 2. Season 1 was wonderful. I really do appreciate everyone that tuned in for episodes or an episode last season. This season, we are looking to do greater and bigger things to be a blessing to many, many more. So I'm counting on you guys to help me do that. Okay. I want you to share every podcast that blesses you. I want you to quote about it on your social media. I want you to help me reach out to more people so that more people are blessed by what God places within me. The gifts that He's given me, the vision He's given me, I want to be a blessing to as many as possible. And I can't do that without you. So you have an opportunity to help me help as many people as possible. Now, season 2, episode 1. Episode 1, what we're going to talk about today are the 2 words that everyone should want to hear God say. The 2 words that everyone should want to hear God say. All right. Now, today we're going to read from the book of Matthew chapter 25, and we're going to read quite a few verses here. But I want you to stay with me, visualize it, see it, feel it, smell it. I want you to be totally engulfed in the word that I'm about to read to you. This is going to be verse 14 through verse 27. Okay. And some of you have heard this story and some of you have not. And if you have not, it's going to bless you. And if you've heard it, it shall bless you as well. So stick with me. Verse 14 through 27. We're reading the NIV. I will talk a little bit about some of the things in the King James Version because I like how it's worded in there. A few parts of it better than I like the way it's worded here. But this is the Bible that I normally study out of, is the NIV. Now, verse 14 says this: "Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went out, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. 'Master,' he said, 'you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more.' His master replied, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness.' The man with 2 bags of gold also came. 'Master,' he said, 'you have entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more.' His master replied, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness.' Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. 'Master,' he said, 'I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you.' His master replied, 'You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest.'" Again, that's the NIV, verses 14 through 27 of the 25th chapter of Matthew, if you want to go back and read it again. Now, the King James Version, in the NIV, it says he gave 5 bags of gold, 2 bags of gold, 1 bag of gold. In the King James, it uses the word talents. He gave 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. Now, talent is a term that was used for unit of currency that usually was about 20 years of a day laborer's wage. So for the one he gave 5 talents, it was like giving 100 years of wages for a day laborer. The one that got 2 is like getting 40 years wages. And the one that gave 1 is like getting 20 years wages. He gave them a portion of his wealth, his riches, and they were to do with it whatever their hearts desire, but to bring more glory, to bring more interest back to the master. So the cool thing is this is what I want you to get. If you look back at verse 15, it says, to one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Why that blessed me is this: God knows exactly what we can handle, and he blesses us with exactly what we can handle. He doesn't put a 5-talent responsibility on someone that can only handle a 1-talent responsibility. And if he gives you 5 talents, if he gives you 5 blessings, if he gives you 5 gifts, he expects you to use them to bring a return. God expects us to be fruitful in our walk. God expects us to be a benefit to others and to the kingdom with our walk, with our blessings, with our talents, with our gifts. So the one that got 5 at once, I like that word. He got up at once and started using them. The one that had 2, he got busy using them. But the one that had 1 talent, he only had 1. And what he decided to do with that 1 was to hide it, to make sure nothing happened to it. I'm going to hide it. And what does that mean to us today? God has placed a gift, a talent, a blessing within all of us. What are you doing with your talent? What are you doing with your gift? What are you doing with your blessing to be a blessing to those around you and to the kingdom? What are you doing to make sure you're fruitful? Are you scrounging with that talent? Are you using that talent to bring glory to God? Or are you digging a hole and burying it? Are you the one that's capable of teaching the children Sunday school, but when they ask for volunteers, you just sit in the back and say, not me? Are you the one that has the gift of singing and the talent of singing, but the choir, you would refuse? I refuse to sing in the choir because I don't want to dedicate myself to the rehearsals. What gifts, what talents, what blessing has God placed within you to bring a return to the kingdom? Because if you read further, when he returns, he says 2 words to them: well done. Those are the 2 words you want to hear God say to you. Well done. Well done. I used to make a joke that I stopped making. And I said, we're going to hear well done one way or the other. Either we're going to hear the master say well done, or when we're thrown into the lake of fire and go to hell, we will become well done. And, it was a good giggle, ha ha, he he. But then I started thinking there's nothing funny about going to hell. I had a friend that would say something like, I'm going to hell anyway. And I said, stop speaking that. Stop saying that. Because if we truly know what being separated from God for eternity was like, we would never joke about that. We would never want that. So this is our opportunity to hear God say, well done. Everybody likes hearing well done. I have 2 sons, and if I tell one good job, the other one's looking at me like, well, what about me? You didn't say it to me. Everybody likes to hear well done. Everybody. Now, I heard a preacher say once that when people start congratulating you, run. And the reason he said that was that because a lot of times we can't handle the well dones, because the well done makes my head swell. The well done makes me start feeling myself versus me pointing my finger to the heavens and say, to God be the glory. Well done starts making me feel bigger than what I should feel. So when they start to pat you on the back and congratulate you, excuse yourself from that before you fall into a prideful state. But you need to serve. I need to serve with a spirit of excellence. So we do hear well done. You've been faithful over a few things. I started you with few, and now I'm going to make you ruler over many. I'm going to bless you with more responsibility. You show me you can handle 5. You show me you can handle 2. And if I give you 1, just take the 1 and do the best you can with that. Here's the problem that a lot of us face. And I find myself falling into this category at times as well. Instead of us taking the one gift, the one talent that God has placed within us, we compare that my gift isn't as cool as hers. My talent isn't as big as his. And God is like, no, that is not why I gave you your talent. I gave you your talent so that you can hone this talent and use this gift for the kingdom. And if you're faithful with that, I can bless you with more. That's the thing that we got to understand. We keep asking God for more of stuff and we haven't used what he's already given us. We want more wisdom, but we haven't used the wisdom we've already had. We want a greater faith, but we haven't exercised the faith that he's already blessed us with. And he gives it to us according to our ability. So if God has placed it in you, it's because he knows you can handle this. He knows what you're capable of. But he also knows that if you will handle this and handle it well, I will bless you with greater. I think about some of the people in the Bible that were faithful, that were good and faithful over the small things they had, and yet God elevated them because of that. Abraham was faithful, and he got up and he left and he obeyed God, and because of that, he becomes the father of many nations. The father of many nations. When we think of the great Hall of Fame of the Bible, we think of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are the names that pop up all the time. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are the beginning of this great nation of Israel. And it started with him being obedient over the small things. Solomon was asked, what is the one thing you want from me? Solomon says, give me wisdom to lead your people. Give me the gift of wisdom. And he took that gift and he used that gift. And because he used it appropriately at first, God elevated him. God blessed him. A lot of times the lowly people in the Bible are the ones that God elevates. Not because he doesn't like elevating the great, because he wants the world to know that God can take even the smallest of us, the least significant of us, and do something extraordinary with your life. Now, imagine if you took your one little talent that you think is worthless and you think is not important and you think it's insignificant. Take your little talent and put it to use. All of a sudden now, your one talent becomes a blessing to 1 million people. Some people are extremely blessed. They have they have just crazy talents. They can sing, they can dance, they can preach, they can serve, they do everything. And you're like, wow, what can I do? I don't have any of those talents, those skills, those abilities. God says, I gave you one. Won't you start using that one? I gave you the gift of helping. You can help out. You can be a blessing financially to your church. That's your starting block. Will you start with that? Will you at least start with that? I gave you one. You have the gift of praying, but you won't pray for anybody but you. That's not using that gift to its greatest potential. You're digging a hole and you're hiding it. See, I hide my gift only because I don't think it'll be received well. And God says, no, I need you to use that gift. Because once he came back, the one that had 5, he said, well done. The one that had 2, he said, well done. The one that had 1, that refused to use it, but hid it so that when the master came, he could at least give it back. He said, you're wicked and you're lazy. And that is not what we want to be called. We do not want to be called wicked and lazy. We want to be called good and faithful. The 2 words you want to hear when the Lord returns or when your time is up, well done. Well done. I pray that as you go through your week this week, you will pray and ask God, if you don't know the talent that he's given you, if you don't know the blessing that he's placed within you, the gifts that he's placed within you, you will seek him and ask him, what is the gift you've given me? What is the talent that you've invested in me? Because I want to use these for your kingdom. I want to benefit the body of Christ. Show me what I can do to be a blessing to many others and to be a blessing to your kingdom. God will not refuse you of that prayer. That is something he wants to reveal to you, because you can't start using that talent until you know you've got it. You can't start operating in that gift until you know you've got it. And don't be surprised that when you first start, you might struggle with things. Keep honing your skills. Keep honing your craft. Keep honing your talent. Keep surrendering your gifts to God, and watch him continue to guide you through this time, this season, because he will come and he will settle accounts. And when it's all said and done, you want to hear two words: well done. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on the podcast. I pray that it was a blessing to you. I need you to do a few things for me. I need you to share this podcast with someone else. I need you to encourage them, because they might be sitting on their gifts too. They may be burying their gift, their talent as well. They need to be using it. They need to make sure they don't get caught with it in their hand, but they get caught with it tripled, doubled, quadrupled in the fruitfulness of that gift. Please be a blessing to someone else by sharing the podcast. Also, if you would like to be a sponsor for this season, if you'd like to sponsor the show, let me know. Send me an email. All of the information will be in the show notes or in the description of the YouTube video. If you'd like to be a sponsor for the show, just reach out to me at the email Columbus, COLUMBUS .Cody, CODY, the number 3 at gmail.com. If you reach out to me, let me know. We can get you on the slots. We want to make sure everyone knows that you support the Living the Life show. If you don't want to sponsor, but you do want to be a blessing to the show as we continue to strive to be a blessing to many others, you can make a donation of any amount that blesses you, any amount that speaks to your heart. And we will also leave the donation opportunities in the description below or in the podcast show notes. So you have the opportunity to donate on the website. You have the opportunity to donate with the Cash App, the Venmo, and with PayPal. So we've made it very simple for everyone that wants to support what we're doing this season and wants to help continue to strengthen and push out the show to many others and allow them to continue to grow in their spiritual lives as well. I really, really do appreciate you guys, and I cannot wait to continue to speak to your hearts this season. All right. You know what I need you to do, everybody? I need you to get busy living the life. God bless.